Instagram Live. Hold up. I got a bunch of stickers on my laptop. Random shit. What's up, everybody? I've been sleeping on this little Q&A feature. The past couple Q&As I've done on here, I had no idea that you can do the Q&A shit like this. So this is pretty cool. So anyway, Happy New Year to you guys. I'm sure you've heard it a million times today. The whole Happy New Year thing. So we're in 2020, and I just want to log in here and just talk to you guys and see how you guys are doing, answer some questions, and start the new year off, man. 2020, new decade. So keep those questions coming. I'm going to try to answer as many as I can. But shout out to all you guys, man. Shout out to all the creators, producers, artists, fans, just, anybody that's tuned in right now, man. Shout out to you guys, man. For real, I have a feeling this is going to be a really good year for a lot of you guys. So this question right here that I'm pretty sure you guys can see, it's my first time doing the Q&A format, but realistic time frame it takes to get a placement. So obviously most of you guys are probably producers or artists, but if some of you guys are tuned in and you have no idea what a placement is, I'll explain that first, and then we can kind of dive in a little bit. But basically, the placement is when you're a producer and you have a beat, an original beat that you created, and you want to place that beat into an album or a movie or a TV show, some type of placement where the original music that you own and created appears on this actual album as a song, and you get paid for it. So the big question is, as a music producer, how do you get your beats placed on like a major album, right? Like an album from like a famous person. Like, how do you get your beat placed on a Drake album or a Young Thug album or an Ariana Grande album or whatever? So it's really, this is sort of the $1 million question. How do you get placements? There's just so many factors that go into it, but I think specifically to answer this specific question, realistic time frame it takes to get a placement, it varies. But what I will say is that a lot of times it can take a long time, meaning I have records that I've placed that took 5 years. Some I have that took 2 years. Other big placements I've had took 10 years, believe it or not. And I know that might be a little shocking, but I've done interviews, and on my podcast I've talked about this, but I'll give you a very specific answer. One of my most proud placements, which happened in 2014, was a song I produced called Love Yours for J. Cole. So that was released in December of 2014. If I trace that placement back and I explain to you how long it took for me to get that placement, it basically took me 5 years to get that placement. And I'll give you guys the short version, because this story is actually like on the internet in an entire episode of Genius. But basically, short version, I produced this album for this artist named Skyzoo, which became a fan favorite. That caught the ears of this guy named Matt, who used to work over at Universal Music Publishing. This is around 2010, 2011. 2012 is when I eventually met this person, Matt, who at the time was at Universal Music Publishing. He became a fan of mine. Fast forward to 2013, I get a text from Matt, and he's like, "Hey, Illmind, do you have any beats for Cole? I work for Cole now." So I'm like, of course. I sent him a bunch of beats. Fast forward to like beginning of 2014, I get a text back from Matt, and he's like, "Yo, there's this one beat that you sent me that J. Cole loves. I want you to hold it for me. I think we're going to move forward with it." And that beat ended up being the Love Yours beat. So it took for Matt to become a fan of mine first, and for me to actually meet Matt, create some type of relationship with him, enough for him to hit me up and say, "Yo, Illmind, send me some beats for J. Cole." So that was a 4 or 5 year process to how that song even came about. So this is the type of deep stuff I'm talking about, guys. Like, there's really no one answer to a realistic time frame of how long a placement can take. A lot of times you can trace placements back years and years, just a cascade of events that kind of happen simultaneously, and just, just one thing leads to another, and then all of a sudden you end up in this place where you have the opportunity to place a song on an album. So it's really very super unpredictable, and there's no one answer to it. So all right, let's look at some other questions here. So let me get this out of here. Let's see what else we got. Let me go through some of these. All right, so this one's kind of cool. All right, so shout out to Dave. He said, basically, "I'm having trouble with coming up with new ideas for songs. Do you have any tips?" So new ideas for songs, it really depends. I think the first question is, are you a producer? Are you a rapper? Are you a singer? I don't know the answer to that, because I can't really tell from this question, but I'll assume that you're some type of like music creator, so I'll try to keep it general. If you're having trouble coming up with an idea, whether you're a producer or a rapper or a singer or just a creative, again, this is one of those questions where there's like no right or wrong answer. I think everybody deals with inspiration in a different way. But what I've noticed is that most times when you feel not creative, or you feel like you have like writer's block, most of the time the reason behind beat block or writer's block is because you're overthinking, or you're putting too much pressure on yourself, where you have like this like big expectation for like writing an amazing song, or this big expectation of like making the most incredible beat. So you put all this like pressure on yourself before you even touch the keyboard, or you put all this pressure on yourself before you even start writing a song, and then nothing ever gets done, and then you get frustrated, and then you end up not making anything. So my whole thing is, if you feel like you're having trouble coming up with ideas, just relax. Relieve yourself of the pressure. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. Like, no one's judging you. There's no right or wrong way to do it. The secret really is just to let go and to just try stuff. Honestly, like, just let go and just try some shit. And one really powerful thing that's worked for me, anytime I felt like any sense of beat block or if I need inspiration, is I'll just treat it like an experiment, and that's been super, super helpful for me. When you approach a project or a beat or a song as if it's an experiment, meaning that you're allowed to fuck up, or you're allowed to just like fuck around and not really have any expectations, then that really could open up the permission, and it'll open up your mind to just like taking action and like just you know, moving forward with just like putting an idea down, as opposed to blocking yourself from even starting. So that's my best piece of advice would be, let go of the expectation, don't put pressure on yourself, and just fuck around. You know, because all this shit is an experiment anyway. Like, every beat that I've made is like literally me fucking around. Every placement I've gotten, every plaque that I've gotten, every amazing or terrible song idea I've had, like, started with like some type of like keyboard riff or drum pattern, or just me fucking around, not knowing what to expect. And you sort of have to like put trust into the creative process and just go and just mess around. So like, treat stuff like an experiment, and I guarantee you that will definitely get you in a better headspace. It's just let go of the pressure. All right, let me go through some more of these questions. Keep them coming, man. All right, let's see. How do you stay motivated? This one, man. How do you stay motivated? Shout out to Kind Orin. How do you stay motivated? So I think part of this question is related to the last question I just answered, which is, how do you stay motivated? How do you you know, fight beat block and, you know, power through not having any ideas? I think staying motivated is just, it's different for everybody, but what I find helps me the most is when I know that I'm working towards something, right? A lot of times it's hard to stay motivated when you don't really know what the goal is, or when you don't really feel excited about the finished product of a particular thing. So I think the first step to stay motivated is to find something to look forward to and find something to be excited about, right? Man, how'd you know my dog was itching herself? She is. She's hanging out right over there. I'm in my living room right now. So find something to look forward to, create some type of goal that you're trying to reach. And for us, for music producers, honestly, a lot of times the goal is to just like make a dope beat, right? Or make a really fire melody or whatever it is. So once you set that expectation, once you set that goal for yourself, the goal is to create 3 beats in one day. Let's say that's a goal. Now you have something to work towards, right? You're not just shooting blanks. You're not just like aiming towards the sky and not knowing like where you could end up, right? So I think when you create a scenario where you set a goal and you're excited to reach that goal, then that could help you become motivated to take action to reach the goal. But then again, you know, motivation also involves, you know, mental health, like personal shit. You know, you might have a shitty day at your job or a shitty day at school, and it just like drains you of all your energy and creativity, and then you just don't feel motivated to do shit, which is okay too. You know what I mean? Like, we're all human. Like, if you don't feel motivated particularly to do something, and you don't really particularly feel excited, then like just relax and like try to reset your mind and like do things that like bring you joy. That's a big one for me too. And I think for a lot of people is when you feel unmotivated, keep it simple. Like relax, like take a deep breath and think about it, and just like think about just like all those like little things that make you happy, that bring you joy, and then like make time to do them. Like maybe taking a walk will clear your mind. Maybe that'll bring you joy. Or like if you're like a coffee drinker like me, I love coffee. Like take a walk to the cafe or go somewhere and grab a cup of coffee and just like put the phone down and sit there and just like relax and chill and like live in the moment. You know what I mean? Yeah, watch a movie, play video games. Do what you can. You know what I mean? Like just like take action. You know, and it doesn't always have to be like pick up the phone and look through Instagram. You know, like do real life shit. Be human, you know, and that looks different for everybody. But you know, a lot of times the answer is right in front of you. Sometimes you just have to like put the phone down, relax, and just like default to doing things that just like bring you joy. That's just a really good way to like switch your mindset from like feeling like you're stuck to then feeling abundance, feeling joy, feeling like you could take action and move forward. So that would be my best advice for that. So let me look at more questions. Shout out to you guys. Keep the questions coming, man. Hopefully they are coming in real time because there's a lot. Okay, I'm trying to find questions that are helpful for everybody. Let's see. Here we go. All right, this is cool. Shout out to Dangerous. They hate on us. Cool. What is the best way to gain genuine relationships / customers? So, I guess what you're asking is what's the best way to build a genuine audience, a group of fans that you have a genuine relationship with. So this is actually one of the things that I've been focused on and kind of always been focused on since the beginning. Anytime you're an influencer or you're an artist or producer or whatever you do, and you're trying to build this like audience of fans, followers, supporters, you want to always make sure you have a good relationship with your followers and your fans. And I think there's a lot of ways to do that. You know, there's a lot of ways that you can nurture your audience. So again, I use myself as an example always. When I first started realizing that I had this passion for music production and nurturing my relationship with other creative people that are also music producers, music creators. This was back in 2011 when I released my first drum kit, and that was when the beginning of the whole drum kit explosion. And so if you look at my timeline in the last decade, 2011, well, we can even go back. 2010, I started a live producer showcase called BLAP, right? Which was like a showcase where 6 producers with their laptop were at a bar, they set up at the bar, and they just do a beat cipher, and people have drinks, and they network, and all that stuff. So I created that event in 2010. 2011, I released my first drum kit. So that was more nurturing the creative community. 2012, I started my podcast, which at the time was called Blap on the Radio. Another way for me to nurture and build my authentic relationship with people who are like-minded, like me, other creatives. 2015, 16 was when I started Pass the Aux, which was, which currently is called Blap Sessions, which is, in-studio meetups with other music producers. And that was also when I started my blog, which is the content on my blog is based around creatives, music production, all that stuff. So all these things are things that nurture my relationship with the people who support me, a lot of you guys. And so that's been my focus for the past few years, and it's been working. It's really allowed for me to not only feel fulfilled, but it allows for me to create this sort of like deeper connection with you guys and with my like real followers and real fans. And those are the people that I care about. Like, I don't really care about scaling to the point where I have 1 million people who follow me, but then 99% of them don't really give a shit. I'd rather have 5,000 people who are really invested, really passionate, 5,000 people that I really connect with, that sort of thing. So I think the best way to build this type of fan base is you're going to do it over time. And you also want to think about like what you can do to bring value to these people. Because really, the value proposition really is, what can I do for you, right? And so I'll tell you something interesting. So there's this, there's different tiers to a brand, right? And so this is very important. So I hope you guys are paying attention. And I might repost this on my Instagram timeline because I think this will be super helpful for a lot of people. But when you're building a fan base, whether you're a producer or a rapper or a singer, whatever you do, when you're building a fan base, you're creating some type of product or some kind of service. Maybe it's music, maybe it's a t-shirt, whatever it is. So there's different tiers to what type of customers, what type of fans that you're trying to build, right? So if I create some type of product, right? Let's just use t-shirts as an example. So I create a t-shirt and I sell it for $20, and a customer comes and they see the t-shirt on social media and they're like, oh, that's a cool t-shirt, I'm going to buy it. So then they buy it. So they bought the t-shirt and they're satisfied. They love the t-shirt. They're like, this is everything that I expected it to be. I saw it, I liked it, it shipped in less than a week or whatever it is. I'm satisfied with my shirt. I love the quality, I'm great. So tier number 1 is the fan or customer being satisfied, right? So that's satisfaction is the bottom of the barrel. That's bare minimum. You have a fan who is satisfied by the product you're selling, right? 100% met their expectations. So that's tier number 1. So that's the bottom of the barrel. Tier number 2 is the fan or customer that buys the t-shirt. It exceeded their expectations, right? So they bought the t-shirt and they were like, oh my God, I saw the t-shirt online, I bought it. It came to my home. It's everything I could imagine. I love it so much. I'm obsessed with it. I wanna tell my friends, right? I wanna share this experience with my friends and my family because I think it exceeded my expectations. I think it was fucking amazing. And so that's tier number 2. Tier number 2 is, I love it. It's everything I fucking hoped it would be, and I'm willing to tell other people about it, right? So that's tier number 2. The third tier is, the third tier is sort of kind of similar to that, but what I'm really trying to get at is the highest tier, the type of consumer, fan, follower that you want to build, preferably, is the type of fan, consumer who is so invested in what you do and what you sell to the point where if you stopped doing what you're doing, if you stopped selling your product, if you discontinued your services, the lifestyle and the emotional well-being of that person will be forever changed. And that's how deep of a relationship that you are invested, that's how deep of a relationship you have with this particular brand, product, person, service, whatever it is. And if that brand, product, service that you relied on for so long disappears tomorrow, you would literally feel lost. You would feel this sense of emptiness, this sense of, man, like, this brand, this product, this person was such a big part of my everyday life that if they disappeared, then my life would change completely. And so that is the type of deep, that's the highest tier. So that's the type of deep relationship that you preferably want to have with your customer, with your fan, with your follower. And that takes time. It takes trust, building trust. It takes consistency, keeping your word, quality of product, all of those things. And so you can apply that to literally any brand. You can apply that to music. You can apply that to an artist. You can apply that to Yeezy. You know what I mean? Like, I know a lot of you guys are fashion people. I know a lot of you guys are into sneakers and shit. If, you know, some of you guys are lovers of Yeezy, some of you guys are haters of Yeezy, right? Some of you guys love Jordans, right? I do. Some of you guys love Jordan 1s. If Nike decided to discontinue Jordan 1s or just completely stop production of Jordans or completely stop production, or even deeper, if Nike said, we're going out of business, we're done, it's over, it's a wrap, we're selling Nike to some Russian fucking billionaire, Nike is done, no more sneakers, no more Jordans, no more nothing, you would feel some type of way, right? The thought of never being able to buy another Nike or never being able to just walk into the Nike store and like buy some Nikes, like, is kind of heartbreaking. You know what I mean? Depending on how deeply invested you are in the Nike brand. So this is the type of deep relationship that I'm talking about, right? So I think that's hugely powerful. I think that you want to think about what you have to offer, what type of relationship you have with people. Are you just some guy on the internet trying to fucking sell some quick shit? You know, you got all these like influencers on here. Do this, here's your fucking 5 steps to this, blah, 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 blah. Like, doing this, doing that. It's like, okay, cool. Like, you might get some clicks, you know what I'm saying? Like, you might get a couple email addresses. You might shoot a couple email blasts out. But motherfuckers don't really give a shit about you like that. You know what I mean? If you disappear tomorrow, God forbid, I'm not wishing that on anyone, but if you're not building a deep connection with the people that fuck with you, you could disappear tomorrow, or you can delete your business tomorrow, and you gotta ask yourself, will people really give a shit, or are you a commodity? You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. Are you a commodity, or do you really fucking matter to people? Right? I don't care if you're a producer, a rapper, a singer, a fucking business owner, a fucking like influencer, whatever the fuck, t-shirt business, whatever it is. If you're a commodity and you disappear tomorrow, would people give a shit? Or are you so deeply connected, and do you offer so much to these people that follow you that if you were to disappear, it would literally affect the well-being and just affect the emotion so deeply of those people that follow you. So I think those are two dynamics that I think all of us should think about. It's perfect timing too, because it's 2020, so that would be my thing. Hey man, I'm on IG Live. So that would be my message for you guys for that. So keep that in mind, and I'm going to end this because it is time for dinner. So appreciate you guys. I think that's super helpful for a lot of us. So think about those two things, whatever you guys are doing, and adjust your moves in your business, doing it that way. And I think that'll really just create a lot of clarity. So I'm out. Peace.